Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to a new video. Shawn's the name, finance is the game today. That's why we're wearing our green shirts. But what are we specifically talking about today? BRRRR Strategy. Yeah, we're talking about the BRRRR strategy today. If you don't know what that is, do not worry. I'm gonna be going over everything about this if you've never heard of it before, as well as maybe some pros and cons to this. So here we go. So first of all, I just want to say that I've actually helped a lot of my clients do this very strategy, and I had no idea it was a mainstream strategy until one of my coworkers actually told me, hey Shawn, have you heard of the BRRRR strategy? I was like, no, I haven't heard of the BRRRR strategy. And he goes, well, you should look it up. Knowing me, I was like, all right, I gotta do tons of research on this. So that's what I did. I started reading a bunch of articles, listening to podcasts, watching a bunch of videos. Malkou with Whiteboard Finance actually had a great video on this, but the problem is all these articles, podcasts, and videos I was watching, they were only really talking about the pros with this strategy and maybe some challenges here and there, but there's a lot more cons to this strategy that most people don't realize. And a lot of these people pitch this strategy as the easiest thing in the world. That's not necessarily the case. Again, I work in mortgages in Arizona. A lot of my clients do this. I know the challenges firsthand, so I figured let's make a video talking about what this strategy is and maybe some challenges or some cons that come with it. Okay, so what is the BRRRR strategy? Well, like I said, it's super simple. Also, I love how we've got a really nice blackboard, really high-end stuff, but we're using a paper towel because, you know, gotta save money where we can. All right, so BRRRR strategy, like I said, super simple concept. All you've got, it's an acronym, all right? You've got buy, and my handwriting, AKA my hieroglyphics, are gonna be terrible. You've got your buy, you've got your renovate. Man, this is gonna get really bad. Renovate, right? So you're gonna buy it, you're gonna renovate it. Then you're going to rent it out. You're gonna buy, renovate, rent. You're going to refinance. That's where I come in. Refinance. Oh my God, that's terrible. Did I even spell it right? Yeah, refinance. And then you're going to repeat. And hopefully you can read that, even though that is probably terrible handwriting. But again, it's very simple. Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat the process. And again, if I was just explaining what this whole thing is, I would pretty much end the video right here because we all know what each of these means. Now I erased this because I'm gonna need this space. I wrote it up here in case you need to reference what each one means. It's getting hot in here. I live in Arizona. This will probably be the first ever financial video you see where a guy rolls his sleeves up to like a tank top, but I am sweating. I'm gonna show you why it's so successful and how people are so successful with it, and then we're gonna kind of poke some holes through it. So, first thing I'm gonna write on the board is actually going to be the letters ARV, which means after, all right, after repair value. All right, so I'm gonna talk about what that means in just a little bit. I'm gonna write the formula on the board of why this is so successful and what people follow to make sure this is so successful. And then we're gonna break it down. You do not need to be very proficient in math. It doesn't matter. You could have failed algebra and you could understand this. In fact, I'll tell you what. Download this Excel sheet. I'll leave a link in the description for you. This Excel sheet is the formula in Excel form. All you have to do is input the numbers of a certain property that you're looking at, and it will tell you if it is a positive cash flow investment or if it's a good property to invest in. I use this with clients at work, so I figured I might as well just give it to you. Again, check the link in the description to download it. Again, the formula is super simple, all right? We're gonna start with our price. So the price that we buy the property for right here in step one, the price is going to equal, and I'm gonna go over this, the price is going to equal our ARV, right, our after repair value, times 0.7 for 70% minus our repair value, okay? So let's just put in, we'll put in the formula right now, repair cost. Repair cost. So ARV, what's ARV mean? Imagine you live in California. And you know that a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is gonna go for $400,000 all day long. You know, no matter what's in that house, it'll get us $400,000. You wanna be conservative, by the way. So this is $400,000, right? This is in California, 400K. We're gonna get to price later, right? What we actually buy it for, that's what we wanna solve for. You might see a home listed for $250,000, but I say totally ignore what the price, like the asking price is for, because you're gonna determine what you're gonna be willing to pay for that house. So just ignore what the list price is because it doesn't even matter. All right, so let's say ARV is 400K. We're gonna multiply it by 0.7 again, right? Put that in parentheses, and let's say it needs a new roof and it needs a kitchen remodel and a bathroom remodel. Let's call it 30, let's call it 30 grand. I don't know, yeah, let's call it 30 grand. Let's call that $30,000 to do. So that's what our formula looks like with numbers. I didn't do the math on this. 400,000 times 0.7, that would be 30% down. I'm gonna go with 280. Someone fact check me on that. I'm gonna write it out, and I think it's 280. I'm so confident it's 280, I'm gonna write it down and then check my math. So we're gonna do 280K in here. And I don't like writing zeros because it's just a waste of time. And then again, this is 30K, so we'll just leave that. Please tell me that my math is right because I don't want to have to rewrite that. 400K times 0.7, 280 baby, let's go. Okay, so then we got our quick maths here. We're gonna go price. What we are willing to pay for this house is gonna be 250 grand. To make sure we are 100% successful with the BRRRR strategy, is this home that's listed for sale that we did the math on and we go, hey, any 3-bedroom, 2-bed houses, they're gonna go for 400K in California right now. And if this house only cost me $30,000 to do the repairs, I am willing to buy the house for $250,000. I know I will be successful and get a good return on my money if I buy the house for $250,000. Now, a lot of people actually use this strategy and they stop right there. So a lot of people do fix and flips and they only go, all right, all I'm really interested in doing is buying, renovating, and then selling. Call it the BRRRR model, just came up with that. Buying, renovating, and selling. A lot of people stop right here. They do their math on everything. They go, okay, my return on this property is gonna be X amount of dollars, so I'm just gonna fix and flip it, call it a day, done. And you can make some good money that way. But you can make even more money. I'm talking if you've got a good 5 to 10 year plan, you can make $1 million easily on this in profit is if you continue on with these next 3 steps, which I'm gonna go over right now. But just remember, this is the buy stage and the renovate stage. So let's say we bought this house with cash just for simplicity reasons. I know a lot of people might not be able to buy a house like this for cash. That's fine. You can still finance it and the strategy is still successful. It's just a lot harder. And I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. Again, I am going to be punching holes in this strategy in a little bit. But if you were to follow this strategy kind of, I guess, word for word or how other people do it, then this is what we're looking at. Bought the home for $250,000. We put 30 grand into it to get it up to our ARV of $400,000. So now what we want to do is we want to rent it out. We want to make some money on it. We want to start cash flowing on this. So far we're $280,000 deep into this property and we haven't made any money. So we need to start making some money. Now in California, I don't know what the average rent is on a 3-bed, 2-bath home. I would say somewhere in the $2,200 range, probably more because it's California and living costs in California that's really small. And the cost of living in California is just stupid expensive. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm assuming we're gonna say we can get $2,200, that's probably conservative, $2,200 a month in rent for a 3-bed, 2-bath property that costs us about $280,000 to get. So now we're renting it out. Now we're cash flowing the property. But the reason why this strategy is so successful is because we do this right here, which is where I actually come in as a mortgage lender, is we refinance the property. Remember, we're $280,000 deep right now. If you're like most people, you don't have another $280,000 in your bank account going, yeah, let's go do another house. Let's start cash flowing. I mean, now we're making $2,200 a month. If I do the math out on this, if I've got this house for X amount of years, I'll make this much money and blah, 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 blah. You can make even more if you've got multiple properties, right? Well, again, most people don't have $280,000 just chilling in their bank account to do another one of these. So here's what you do. You do a cash out refinance. Now, you want to keep at least 20% equity in the home so you don't have mortgage insurance. I want to stay kind of above all that stuff. Don't want to dive into that, but you want to have at least 20% equity in the home. And again, I'm going to punch holes in the strategy after this, why this is going to be kind of an issue for us, but we want to keep 20% equity. So we're going to get a cash out refinance. Me as a mortgage lender, I don't really care what the purchase price is for the most part. What I care about is something kind of like the after repair value. I care about the appraised value of the home. When you go to get a cash out refi or you go to even sell a home or buy a home or whatever, there's always, pretty much always, got to be an appraisal done. An appraisal talks about how much the home is actually worth. So I might think that I can get $400,000 for it, but until an appraiser actually comes out to the home and says, yeah, you've got 3-car garage, you've got nice bathrooms, you got, a pool, all this stuff. all right, you know what? Your home's actually worth $400,000. So now the appraised value, I can pull money out of the house based on the appraised value. So that's where we do our refinance here. Again, we want to keep 20% equity in the home. So we're not going to get a loan of $400,000. We're going to get a loan of, I want to say it's like $320,000. I don't know. Check my math. I might be wrong on that one. $320,000 is 80 grand 20%. I don't know. Oh, it actually was right. Okay, so again, we want to keep 20% equity in the home. So we're going to get a loan of $320,000 right now. We're going to pull this out of the home, but now we're going to have a mortgage payment. Let's say our mortgage payment is, I don't know, $320,000. It's probably going to be at least a minimum of $1,800, $1,700. I don't know. I'm ballparking right now. But now we've got a mortgage, right? So we've got a mortgage of, let's call it, for simplicity reasons, let's just call it $1,700 a month that we're paying on this mortgage. But remember, we're getting $2,200 a month in rent. So now we're making $500. Now we've got a profit. We'll do profit of $500. God, my handwriting is terrible. I feel bad for you. So a profit of $500 a month. And best part is now we have $320,000 cash in our pocket to go. All right, now we're on to the next step. Let's do another one. And then you repeat the entire process. Remember, we started this property with $280,000. Now we've got $320,000. That's 40 grand more. We just made 40 grand off this, and we're cash flowing the property. So now we're making money on the mortgage payment, right? So we're paying our mortgage payment, still walking away with $500 a month. The home is appreciating in value. Let's say we keep the home for 10 years, then we sell it, we make a bunch of money, then we sell it for even more than we bought it for. All this good stuff. That's how you make absolute bank. This formula, this strategy, very high success rate. And as long as you can follow this, then you're going to make a lot of money on it. Now, there are hurdles with every single step in this process. And I'm going to go over each one because most people do not talk about how hard each one of these steps are. They break out the math like that and they go, oh, this strategy is awesome. Make sure you use this. You're going to become a millionaire in no time. And if you're able to do all that, then yeah, you can make a lot of money. But here's where we run into some issues. The buy the buy part of the BRRRR strategy. Hardest part, it depends on where you're at in the country, but the hardest part with this right now is the market is so hot. It is HAWT hot. It is so hot right now that it is going to be incredibly hard to buy a property at the value you want to buy it at with that formula I just broke out. The next one are renovations, right? Or our rehab to the property. Now, the hardest part with this is, you know, we could throw a number at it and go, oh yeah, 30 grand, we're good. But in reality, we really don't know. We do not know how much it's going to actually cost us to do. And we don't know how long it's going to cost us to do that. So we might think, oh, it just needs a roof, or we got an inspection, so we got a really good idea on what it needs. But then once we actually start the work, it's going to be even more expensive. It's going to take us even more time. And that's just the stressful, risky part of this entire strategy. But you can't really put an exact number on, here's what it's going to cost us to renovate, and I know I'm going to make money on this property because I know people, I've done loans for people who have been like, oh, easy, I'll buy it for $250, renovations will be $25, and I'll sell it for $300, and we're good. And renovations actually ended up being like $60,000, $70,000. After the realtor commissions and everything, it was like you almost broke even on it, and I felt really bad. So it's really hard to know exactly what our rehab cost is going to be. All right, our next hurdle is going to be something that a lot of people can probably relate to watching this video. The renting portion of this strategy becomes very challenging because we all know the saying, oh, it's a rental, who cares? It's a rental, who cares? We've all rented jet skis before, or cars, or whatever, and we're like, yeah, it's a rental, drive it hard, ruin it, who cares? We're just renting it. Same thing is going to happen with your house is renters are very, very, very careless, right? A renter can come into your property, and I'm going to try to draw a bomb here, and I don't really think it's going to work, but boom, that looks like more like a sun. I'm terrible, but whatever. They can basically just destroy your place, and they might be like dirt poor. They might not have anything in the bank, so sure, you can take them to court, and you're not really going to get anything out of it, and then all of a sudden you got to drop way more money of repairs into this property because your renters basically destroyed it, or your renters are like not paying you rent. I mean, you could probably look up the worst nightmare rental stories out there. When someone's renting your stuff, it's never going to be treated the same way as you treat it. So just kind of keep that in mind. A lot of people like to brush past this and go, oh, but I'm making money on it, so we're good. Yeah, but your renters might kind of destroy a lot of stuff and end up costing you more money. All right, now my favorite one, obviously, because I'm a mortgage lender, is going to be the refinance portion. Now, I'm going to draw a bigger arrow down here because I want more room for this one. This is the biggest portion of this entire strategy that everyone brushes over. They just think, oh yeah, you buy it cash, and then you go refinance and you pull your money out and you're good to go. And the math works out to where, yes, you do make a good chunk of money on it. But remember, we're using a 70% ratio for, I guess, what we want our property, our purchase price to be, 70%, right? Well, when you refinance a property, if it's an investment, which obviously it's an investment because we're renting it out. If we have renters in the property, we are renting it out. All right, so you're going to get an investment loan on it, a conventional investment loan for the most part. When you get an investment loan, your rates are going to be much higher. So that mortgage payment I used when I busted out the math, probably a little bit higher than that because your rate's going to be usually at least 1% higher, maybe a little bit less, but at least 1% higher. A way to combat this is you actually keep 25% equity in the home. So you get a much better interest rate. Most people don't know this. You get a much better interest rate if you got a 25% equity in the home. So instead of pulling out 80% in the home, you're only going to be pulling out 75%, which means your margin for how much you make between the buy, renovate, and refinance stage is going to be a lot lower, right? Because you're going to lose basically 5% of margin right there. But you're going to be able to cash flow a lot better on the rental stage. One thing you can do, and a lot of people like to do this, is they like to actually stay in the home for a little bit and maybe refinance the home as their primary residence. Now, just keep in mind, there are some waiting periods with your refinance. So most of the time on most fix and flips, you've got to wait 6 months to actually refinance the property. And almost in anything, you got to wait 6 months for the most part. But a way to beat this is to go, all right, I bought the property, I renovated it, and instead of renting it out right away, I think I want to live in it. I want to live in this home for a little bit. You live in it for a few months and you go, okay, now it's time, I'm going to refinance it. You refinance the property as your primary residence, right? So you're basically going to be saving a full percentage point right there, which is going to be a big deal in your monthly payment. And this is something that a lot of people do if the margins get smaller and smaller because of these stages. They'll live in the property, keep it as their primary residence, get a good interest rate when they refinance it. And then once they live in it a little bit after their refinance, they go, okay, now it's time. I'm going to rent it out. And now I'm going to go ahead and make it to our next step, which is going to be repeating the process. Now, the biggest problem most people run into when they go to repeat the process is with any business is scaling the business. So it's easy to do this once. Well, it's not easy, but once you do it once and you go, oh yeah, I'm feeling really confident about this. You're going to start this entire process again. You're going to have this issue again. You're going to have this issue again. You're going to have this issue again. And you're going to do this whole thing over and over again. So repeating the process is going to be a lot harder than you think. But for the most part, this strategy makes an obscene amount of money. An obscene amount of money if you're able to stick to the formula we talked about earlier and you're going to be prepared for all these barriers and challenges as you work through it. Last tip I'm going to give everyone for this, and it's a little bit of a self-plug to me and like all other lenders in this world, but basically what you want to do to make sure you're successful with this is talk to the necessary professionals. Talk to a lender, all right? Talk to a lender and go, here's my plan, here's my strategy. Do you think it's going to work? Give me some actual numbers for what my monthly payment's going to be. Give me some actual numbers for maybe what you think it's going to appraise for. Talk to a realtor. Talk to a bunch of different professionals to make sure your plan is solid before you go up and spend tons of money. Again, if you want to check out lending stuff, go to lending.shawnmalkou.com. If you enjoyed this video, then I would really appreciate if you hit that like button. Also, share this video, share this strategy and this process with someone else, right? Share the video for me. I really appreciate it. I spend lots of time on this stuff. And also, maybe it's worth sharing it with someone you want to go and invest on a property with. This initial cost of buying is very hard on your own, but if you've got a partner or two partners, it can make this process a lot less stressful. So share the video with a friend. As always, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to a lot of the videos that I make. And also check some of the videos out down below. I did some cool stuff on some other finance videos I think you'll like. But other than that, I think it's time we just go out and we make some money. Money, 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 money.